What's going on, everyone? You're listening to 99 Yards here with your host, Adibot. And today we got two guests on the show. I want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. G Wavo, TikTok, GWAVEO. Yeah.
Kurt.
TikTok, pretty much all social media is Super Kurt, CURTT.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna be getting into some NBA stuff, the offseason, some big moves that already been made, finals, and yeah, if y'all on Anchor or any streaming app, Spotify, y'all do have to go through a 30-second announcement. That's because I do want to get paid. That's not the point. But yeah. Anyways, but if you're on YouTube or anything else, let's get into it. So let's start off with the finals because I think there was some interesting stuff that happened in the finals. And first thoughts, what y'all have?
Okay. For me, the finals, I really liked how Giannis played down the stretch. I found it really interesting that the Suns would fold like that, especially when you have Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul ending up not being able to carry it all to the victory, especially how much they were hyping up DeAndre Ayton early in the playoffs. And seeing DeAndre Ayton crumble like that is something that really caught my attention and really like shook me, honestly. Like I didn't think that he would be able to get dominated like that by Giannis on the interior, especially how we saw him play in game one against the Lakers versus Anthony Davis, even though the next game he proceeded to get dominated and drop like 35 on. But for the finals, my overall takeaway is that I told a lot of people that Giannis was never a playoff choker, and the only reason that he did not have a championship was because he was running into teams that had the perfect formula to stop him. And this year, no such team existed in the playoffs. Thus, he won the championship. He was never a playoff choker, and that's just my main takeaway is that I was right about him not being a playoff choker.
Mm-hmm. And I think Giannis is like one of those teams. I mean, yeah, he's not gonna be like that guy that's gonna fold under pressure, but I don't think like that team. It was like I know a lot of people were going out and saying that Giannis wasn't or shouldn't be a first option on a playoff team. I think there was a whole bunch of creators that said that, and his play style is just very much it's not really a modern play style. It's not one that people think will succeed, but he's also just so dominant. That's just the thing. I mean, but yeah, as you said, DeAndre Ayton, I think everyone hyping him up into that game. I thought the Suns were a perfect match for the Bucks. I thought they were a perfect match. I thought they were going to be better. They had really on paper they have a better team. I think if you look at everybody's play style, the three for the Bucks and the three for the Suns are not that far off. I mean, Booker is very much like Middleton to me. CP3 is like Holiday. I thought just all of that coming together, I thought the Bucks were not the better team, but the Suns did not play that well. And then we lost Kirk, but I think he'll join later. So, what do you think about
it? My initial reaction of the finals, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the Bucks were able to make that comeback because, like you said, the Suns.
There we go.
They were the perfect matchup for the Bucks, but in my opinion, I feel like the Suns were just the better overall team. I feel like they just had a well-constructed roster. But the thing with the Suns, I just feel like lack of experience, of playoff experience, just got to them because, like Kurt said, DeAndre Ayton couldn't handle Giannis. He can't handle like a dominant player like Giannis, AD, and that's what got to the Suns because they didn't have a specific game plan to stop Giannis, and that's what happened to all the other teams. Like they're not really a defensive-minded team to me. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was really the matter of which team would step up, and to be honest, I don't know if the Suns really stepped up when they needed to. I don't think there was that one player that really stepped up. They all had great games. It was great games. CP3 dropped 20. I think a whole bunch of games, and then Devin Booker was dropping points, but it wasn't like they both were dropping 20. It was either one of them does really good and then one gets locked down. I think Jrue Holiday was a very big factor in the games. I think he was a big reason that they took four. They took 4 in a row. I mean,
another thing I'll add on to that, what Kurt said. I just feel like Giannis is not a playoff joker. He's definitely not a playoff joker. It's just that he never had the right team around him because him and Bledsoe, I always said this, him and Bledsoe are basically the same player in play style. Like they both need the ball in their hands. And if Bledsoe's not going offensively, he's not like Drew Holiday where, okay, he don't need to have a good offensive night. He can produce with his defense. He could just have a good night on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Bledsoe his offense has to get his defense going. And if he's not producing, then he's just basically a non-factor. So that's why the Heat last year, we basically took advantage just letting them shoot because Bledsoe's not a outside threat, to be honest. Like the numbers will show he's like a 40% three-point shooter, but you got to think about the volume of shots. He's not going to kill you from behind the arc. He's not going to live with a three-point shot. He's more of a slasher.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen those graphics with the Eric Bledsoe. I could low-key feel bad for him. The fact that he was on the Suns and the Bucks, that's just a funny thing. But the irony with that. I mean, but I mean, I don't know if he was really helping the team the way Drew Holiday did. And I remember when that trade first went through, I was like, why did they make the trade? Because it was like, to me, they're very similar players, but like the impact that Drew Holiday had was way more than Bledsoe really ever had for the Bucks.
Yeah. And for me, honestly, I feel like not enough people are talking about Devin Booker and how he wasn't able to carry this team. And it kind of makes me wonder because I always was saying that Devin Booker was the best player on the Suns. And maybe I have to like – wait, what'd you say?
You feel that way?
That's what I feel. I feel like that it's closer maybe between him and Chris Paul than we think because I feel like that he has a lot of potential to easily be a top 10 player for years and years, but I feel like that he's not yet reached that point yet. And I thought that this playoffs, he would reach that point. But I didn't really make a prediction on it. I just felt like that could happen.
Yeah. I was him and Trae Young. I felt like, okay, like after this playoffs, people will give into the fact that they'll close the narrative that they're not winners, and they'll also accept the fact that okay, they're top 15, top 20 players in the league because of their talent.
And the Trae Young, I mean, I was rooting for the Hawks all the way because I loved the Trae Young situation. I mean, the fact that he embraced the villain role and everything, that was just fun to watch. I don't know what it was. It was fun to watch Trae Young throughout the playoffs. But the worst part about it was the fact that he got overrated so much whenever that happened. Like, there was people really over there, like, putting him above Luka. That was, like, actually a point. Like, I don't know where that came from, but I guess in the NBA there's more recency bias because you can see one player go off and it's like they'll go off the next night and it looks like, you know, they're better than someone while someone else is down. But it really happened. Like, I don't know where that narrative came from, but I think
and you know what's the funny part about that is that none of those people that actually say that Trae Young is better than Luka can actually back it up like with anything besides saying, oh, well, one has been out of the first round and one hasn't. It's like, no, that's just not how it works.
And with the Luka, and I'm a Mavs fan, so with the Luka thing, I mean, he wasn't really. There's no one else on the team. KP was supposed to step up. He did terrible. You know,
I feel like with KP is just his role, but in a sense, yeah, he should have stepped up. But at the same time, last year we seen KP performed against the same team and put up big numbers. And the narrative last year was, oh, if KP was healthy, the Mavs, which I believe too, and I was rooting for the Clippers to win that series. But the narrative was that the Mavs would beat the Clippers if the whole team was healthy.
We really should not have choked. That was tough. But I'll say this: I don't know how much of like. I don't know if the blame that KP is getting is all his fault, but I think there was some plays like the pick, like, you know, they'll try to set a pick and then have him shoot a three, but Luka would just never pass it. There are some situations where he was misused, but I feel for the fact that Luka wasn't even like in a couple of the games. I think he was out for 2 games. and those were the 2 games I think we lost that kind of changed the tide.
Wait,
And
did Luka really miss games during that series?
yeah, he was injured, I think.
I don't remember him missing any games. He missed games.
I'm pretty sure he missed
Did-
1 or 2.
I think he got
Really?
injured and scored 19 points in one game, but I don't think he missed a game.
It was the one in the bubble, the playoff series in the bubble, but not this series.
He got hurt though, I think. So he wasn't like 100%. But I do remember he got hurt. So I don't think he was either. He wasn't a fully 100%. Yeah, I might have my information wrong in that one, but yeah. Anyway, KP was still like the number 1 guy. He was supposed to be the number 1 guy. That was just not him. He just could not handle it. And I don't think there was a second guy other than KP to help him out either, because I think our second best player might be like Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway. I mean, I can't, none of those guys are going to step up in the playoffs. And for Luka to carry that team, really, I don't know. I don't think KP is the best player to be there around him.
Yeah, I don't think
the reason why they lost.
What?
You want to know the main reason why the Mavericks lost?
What was that?
It's because they let go of Seth Curry.
The
spacing was a big part, and that's another reason why I feel like KP also struggled, because another thing is they also played Boban at the 5 too.
Yeah,
and I feel like KP also thrived when he's playing the 5. That's what he was playing last year. And then you also had Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway. Now you just have Tim Hardaway, who's your best shooter. Trey Burke, who's inconsistent. You can't play Trey Burke, and he's also a defensive liability. So,
I mean, I don't like Seth Curry. I mean, he really did open up that floor, and I think he's very underrated for the role that he played. Like, people don't talk about him as much. Like, I know, like the fact that we have 2 players like Boban, and we had Boban running the 5, where KP running the 4, and then so then you would have Luka either running like whatever he'll run the point guard sometimes, but then you have that shooter, which I don't think we have anymore. We have Tim Hardaway, who's not as good, like nowhere close to that type of shooting, and I think we do miss that.
He's streaky. He's definitely. He could on some nights, but there's other nights where
it's not as consistent as Seth. Like Seth will give you shots when you need him, and I think even this year he was going off like from beyond the arc.
He was shooting like 60% for 3 for like a good portion of the year.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, he is. He's low-key not talked about enough, like, because he's one of the best role players in the NBA for me, at least, because like you just want him to get a 3 and you got it, like,
Yeah,
but
and how he stepped up for the Sixers in the playoffs when they needed scoring. That's huge. Like, he was so huge. Like, as a Sixers fan, because of how he played this playoffs, I never want to see him leave the team ever. I want him to retire Philadelphia 76ers. That's how well he played it. Like, we needed scoring.
Y'all needed someone like that. Y'all really did need him. Need someone like that. I mean, what do you think about Ben Simmons?
I personally believe Ben Simmons. I have hope for him because I never like to see players just turn out to be absolute busts. I never like to see that. I may like to see some players lose some games, but never like to see someone turn out as a bust. So I really want him to be able to go to a team that's not really looking for any type of playoff contention and be able to develop there in style where he won't be afraid to shoot, because I think the part of the reason that he's afraid to shoot is that there's these playoff expectations around the Sixers. And especially if you know anything about the city of Philly, you know that these people really feel like that every year, their team should go to the playoffs and win the championship, right? Whatever sport it is. And that's not really how. And he came into the league and came into that system where he needed to develop, but he felt like that he didn't want to risk developing and taking shots that he felt like were going to hurt the team, because he thought maybe like, I'm going to miss a shot, and it really hurt his development. So I think he maybe goes somewhere else, goes to a poverty franchise. It's not really looking to win a title right now. And then he can go do that there and try to develop there. And that would be the best thing for him. And if he's not going to develop, well, then just let him just stay there forever. I don't know. But I think he needs to get traded. And in order for him to reach his full potential, for right now at least, it can't be on Philly. It can't be.
It can't. I mean,
it really can't.
For me, I don't know if I like him running the point guard, the point forward. I don't know if I like that because I don't know if he's a good ball handler, but like I don't know if I want I'd rather have like a good point guard who can like run the floor without him. I just don't know if I'm comfortable with him being a guard.
If he could shoot, I don't think you would say that because
exactly.
He can do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Else. And that's the thing, right? If he just gets this, if he can become a sub, like even a below average shooter, like people still fear LeBron's jump shot. Mm-hmm. They fear LeBron's jump shot, but he hasn't been a league average 3-point shooter in at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, even if he gets a decent jump shot, like not like a crazy like shooting percentage, but like even just an average, not like I'll even take below average, just to where you can make a good amount of whenever you need it, you can get a bucket, from beyond the arc. That's all Ben Simmons needs. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not asking him to be like Dame or Steph, but just a sneaky 3-point shooter that at least defenses can respect your 3-point shot, because no one's respecting Ben Simmons 3-point shot right now.
Yeah, I'm at a point with Ben Simmons where I don't even care if you're a consistent or inconsistent shooter. It doesn't matter. I just want you to at least let the defense respect you. You don't even need a 3-point shot. You just need a jump shot in general. You just need a mid-range shot at least. Because the way they play him is is one dude in the paint, and then it's Ben Simmons handling the rock at the 3-point line. Either he does a handoff screen or he just tries to post up. Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't work right now in this age of basketball when you have great perimeter defenders, okay, and now you're locking up. Your teammates are getting locked up by great perimeter defense. You don't have anywhere to pass because no one, as we just said, no one's respecting you, right? Big man in the paint, and then of course you have Embiid, but Embiid's only gonna bring so much attention. But it's sad to me because I remember when Ben Simmons made his first 3-point shot and everybody went crazy. That's how you know that no one that's just once in a blue moon occurrence. I remember that first 3-point he made, everyone was going crazy because that's his first one. But you're running the point guard. That's, I don't know if I like it. If he develops into being a Giannis type of player where he's an athletic power forward, just dominant, I feel like that could be a role for him. And of course he has the defense ability, which I think that's for a team that needs defense, he would be the perfect player because he was a defensive player of the year candidate. I mean
he's shown flashes of being that type of player, but again, that was, especially that game against Utah, it was because he had to. Embiid wasn't there, and then the floor spacing was perfect for Ben Simmons to attack the rim. So I do like the combo of Ben Simmons and Embiid, but at the same time, if Ben Simmons can't further develop, like Kurt says, then that combo just doesn't work. That duo can't work.
Because Embiid brings a lot.
Until he learns how to shoot.
Yeah.
Until he learns how to, or not even learns how to shoot, until he starts taking threes more consistently, he is always going to be in a position and always going to put the team in a weird position. Even if he learns how to shoot but is a terrible 3-point shooter, his ceiling will be just below Giannis. And I say just below Giannis. I mean, his ceiling will be Giannis. That's what his ceiling would be.
That's a good thing.
And that's a good thing. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing.
Exactly. And I think it's not even that I think for Ben Simmons, if he shoots like Russ, that I'll take that. I'll take that. Where he doesn't.
I don't think anybody takes it. Yeah,
not the fact that he doesn't I don't want you to make the shot. I just want you to at least take the shot. Because it might sound weird, but if you're taking the shot, defenses are finally going to step up and play you like a guard, and you're actually going to be able to make more stuff with. You cannot play in the paint, and with the duo of him and Embiid brings way too much attention in the paint for you to try to play the way he's playing. you have to have Embiid off the floor for you to play the way he wants to play. You have to. I mean, because Embiid is way too dominant in the paint.
And I think a big problem here is that a lot like Simmons is he's falling victim to something that we don't talk about enough. But ever since this new era changed, we have this thing where like point guards are scoring a lot more points now. So we're expecting point guards to score more and to actually take the ball and be dominant scoring the ball also. And Ben Simmons he has this weird thing in his head where he's like, I'm just going to pass the ball all the time and only score when I absolutely need to. So he's always looking to pass the ball as opposed to score. He's like never looking to score the ball, like ever. And that is a problem. And you see it in the playoffs. You get a wide open dunk, but you're looking to pass. Like, no, just score. Like it really hampers him. He should be averaging like 20 points per game minimum. He's not doing that because he's passing the ball and missing open shots. Like,
he's too talented. He's too talented.
He's
too talented.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, there was that one play. I remember that one clip where he had the easy dunk. I think it was Trae Young guarding him. And then he passed the ball. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's not confident enough. I don't know if it's something.
It was the free throws. It was the free throws that got to his head.
Yeah.
And he has a really he's not really like strong-willed or strong. He's not really strong-minded or strong-willed. And those two things in the NBA, like when we talk about mental health, those things are things that are not talked about enough, and people are just going to call you trash. And it's kind of like these things compound because Ben Simmons, he's not a good three-point shooter, right? And he doesn't like when people come at him for his three-point shooting. So he won't shoot because of it, and then it makes the team worse. But then he'll decide, hey, I'm going to actually try to shoot three-point shots. I remember they were playing the Knicks this year. He shot a three from the left corner, and he airballed. And everyone was laughing at him saying, oh, he's terrible three-point shooter, terrible. He's not good. But he was doing what we wanted him to do, but we were asking him to do, but then he did it, and we laughed at him. And I noticed this then. I was like, this is not going to help him. And then later on now we're talking about trading him because he said, no, I'm not shooting anymore because if I shoot, they laugh at me. But if I don't shoot, then they laugh at me.
They still laugh,
You're just going to have to figure out. You're just going to have to be mentally strong-willed, close out the haters from out of your ears, and then just say, you know what, I'm going to do this because this is what my coaches and my team want me to do, and not worry about the haters. But they hear, like these NBA players, they say they don't hear, they hear everything.
Yeah, they hear.
They might just not respond because if you respond, then you're also probably get laughed at. But but I think a major part of that is the fact that he's playing for Philly. I think that's a huge factor because we all know that Philly's like that. Like Philly, as a sports city, is not the nicest to their players.
Philly is the worst place to be playing for a player like him.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who still if you need to develop, like if you're not for a person who has to develop their game and is not like the best at has their flaws, Philly's not the best place. And that's why I think if he does get traded, he has to go to a small market somewhere, at least maybe not I don't think like that's just his confidence is just not there.
Yeah, like
to play for a team like that.
Like basically, why do you also think that the Sixers are never able to raise young talent? Because the pressure that's put on them because they're playing in Philly is so great. The only young talent that's there right now that I think that they drafted besides like that's actually a star is Embiid. But he's just a menace. Like he's a menace to society. So he embraces it. He's that kind of guy to embrace that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't have that mentality that Embiid has, you're not going to last in that city as a young guy. Markelle Fultz, where's he at? Marco Carter Williams, where's he at? Like these players.
I mean, Embiid. Oh yeah, that Embiid is just he does not care about anything anyone says. Like he embraces that. I mean,
he's like the embodiment of Philly.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But okay. So, what do you think would be a good trade destination, or a good trade package? Because I know Philly came out and said that they want a Harden type trade for that, and I don't know where they're going for.
I see everyone's response, and I didn't even make a video on this yet, but I see all these packages, and basically, for example, right? one of the trade packages that was crazy was like Ben Simmons to the Warriors. The Warriors were supposed to give up 4 first-round picks, 3 pick swaps, and Wiggins and Wiseman. And you know what that screams to me? That screams to me, we're the Sixers. We don't want to do business with you because you don't have what we need right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you for the most crazy thing we can, and we're going to get either one of those two things. One, you're going to leave us alone, or two, you're going to make a dumb deal and give us all of those players for someone we know is not worth them. Like, I don't think people actually think that Ben Simmons is worth all that stuff. They know he's not. It's just that the Sixers know, especially we have to think about this. The Sixers know we want to win the championship. What we need to get is another star player. We need to get a star player, and we're probably going to have to package Simmons with some other players to go get this person that we need, like a Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal. We're going to have to package some people with him. So these teams that are asking for Ben Simmons, and you can't offer us anything to help us meet our end goal, which is actually to win a championship. Like, who can the Warriors give up that's going to make the Sixers win the championship this year? They can't. They're not trading Steph Curry, so we don't want to talk. But if you want to talk, here, I'm going to give you this huge thing, and you're going to either say yes or no. I feel like that there's a lot of teams who have done that throughout history, and especially the Rockets did that to the Sixers, which is the reason why Harden is not in Philly, right? Because the Rockets didn't want to do business with Philly because of Daryl Morey. So it's like the teams do this sometimes, and I think that that's what's going on here. I don't think that the Sixers actually are like, hey, we think Ben Simmons is equal to James Harden as far as trade value. Like, that's just not true. I mean, that's not what I believe.
Yeah,
but
that's
I can
fair.
understand because
that's fair.
It's kind of just an assumption, but
if they actually want that though, but I could definitely see that because I don't think there is, like as you said, I don't think there is a player from Golden State that could help them. I think a good player for them would be like Bradley Beal, Dame Lillard, one of those guys. What do you think about that, G-Wave?
I don't know. Now I think about it. I'm trying to see it from a Sixers fan's perspective because I still have faith in Ben Simmons, believe it or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
I think I still do have faith in him. I just don't know if where he's at right now is a good place for him to.
That's exactly how
he just need a fresh new start. He really need a fresh
because
new start.
He is like the first pick of the overall. He could live up to that. Like I still think he can, but I just don't know if he has enough time to develop in Philly, and his development going nowhere in Philly. The team around him in Philly is just not right. So
and what's crazy is that at one point I remember it was a debate whether they want to build around Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, and then I thought it was ridiculous because Ben Simmons. You could see who was the better player at the time. It was Embiid who was the better talent. It was just Embiid had to get over his injuries. That's the only thing. But
people were saying that like Ben Simmons is in his like third year. He's gonna develop a jump shot. Yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah, he's going to, and he's not doing it.
Yeah, that's why people were saying that.
There's just nothing. I don't think the development's gonna be there in Philly at all. But anyways, let's talk about the Russell Westbrook trade, right? So one trade that did go down. I mean, it's a big trade, but to me personally, I'm not part of the hype train just because I don't think that's a good location for Russ at all. I don't think LA was a good location for Russ. I thought maybe, if they weren't getting rid of Dame, I thought someone like the Trailblazers would be perfect. Golden State, one of those teams that have shooters around them. I don't think Golden State would have ever got him, but I just don't know if I like the fit in LA at all.
It was unexpected. For me, it was unexpected. But when I actually thought about it, I'm like Russ, LeBron, AD. And then I thought about last year how I remember before James Harden got onto the Nets, there was people talking about, it's one basketball. They're not going to work. I was a part of that at one point. And then I remember OG, he was telling me about, superstars make it work. And I'm like, this is the same scenario. Even though floor spacing is going to be their biggest problem because LeBron is their best shooter, but at the same time, this helps LeBron because he has another player he could defer to for playmaking duties. He don't have to rely on Alex Caruso. Dennis Schroeder's probably out of there, and Dennis Schroeder, he was having problems fitting in with the team. That's the only thing for me. I think Russ, LeBron, and AD just have to figure it out. Basically, I don't think that spacing thing is going to be a problem. I think that team is just going to be fast paced. That's how they're going to. And the half court set, Russ is going to have to figure out how to play without the basketball. But he did it in Houston when James Harden was the main ball handler. So.
Yeah, and it's when we look at this trade, they still have a lot of unanswered. They still have to go out and fill their roster up. That's the main thing. I heard they only have 5 people under contract right now. If that's true, then they gotta sign some. The people that they fill their roster out with have to be people that can actually shoot above league average from 3. That's what they should be looking for. But even if they do that, then they're good. There's really just no there would be no more spacing issues, especially because if you even think about it like this, Dennis Schroeder, he probably was a starter for a lot of last year. If you replace him with Russell Westbrook, you just got better.
Exactly.
He's just a better version. He's just a worse version of Russell Westbrook. That's really what he is.
Yeah, I think so. So I did post a video on this, and there was some people that were saying you should wait a minute because they're gonna sign people. The reason I'm saying this is just because I couldn't tell you who they're gonna sign as of right now. That's the only reason I say that. Because if they go out and sign someone that shoots above league average, and gets good shooters, consistent good shooters, then that trade was amazing. If they fill up their roster to make their team perfect fit for Russ, they're a great team. But I just couldn't tell you that as of right now. But that's gonna be interesting to see. I definitely think they will do that. But do y'all think they will be or their finals locks? Because there's a lot of people who have them as final lock or contenders automatically with that.
It depends. It depends. But I have a great feeling that they could make the finals this year.
Unless the Warriors add Kawhi, even if they did, they're not beating this team because this team is going to be a great defensive team. This team is going to be really good already. On paper, it already looks good. And if you give LeBron an on paper team, I trust that they're going to be able to do what they need to do. Hopefully LeBron, AD, and Russ can all be healthy for the playoffs. And if they all are healthy for the playoffs, it's really no I can guarantee that they're going to make it to the finals. I'm not afraid, especially if Kawhi resigns with the Clippers. I think that'll be a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be a mistake because the main reason he would say that he could have the main reason he would resign is because he is under the impression that they would have won the finals this year if he didn't get healthy. I mean, if he didn't get hurt, which may or may not be true. But even if it is true, then we have to understand that there was a lot of injuries and stuff going on. So just because you weren't the one to win that championship doesn't mean that next year those players won't be back and then you are just going to win. It's going to be the same situation. And he might lock himself in for 3 more years or 5 more years on this team just to be in this situation over and over again. They're not going to win a championship. At least next year, I can guarantee they're not going to win. And then maybe it depends on who they add. Maybe they add someone that I don't know about yet. Maybe they add Kyle Lowry and then him. And then I would actually really, let me not say that. Because if they add Kyle Lowry, I might have to rethink a few things. Because that would be exactly what they're looking for as far as a point guard who can make and play defense and actually start. That would be who they're looking for. And then they would have Reggie Jackson coming off the bench after how well he played in the playoffs.
Oh, he played. Oh, yeah.
That would be a team to look out for. That's something to look out for. But if they don't do that, I'm not worried about them, and they're not winning the championship anytime soon.
Yeah. And that's, if they get someone like Kyle Lowry who can, as you said, play defense, play make, that, But, I don't think if if he comes back under that impression, then just if the league starts, everyone's healthy. So let's say no injuries, then you got to worry about the Nets, who have 3 players, and then depending on their roster signings, whoever they sign, that's also probably going to become scarier. That team might become even better, just depending on who they sign. I think if they get really, I mean, I don't even know who they need to get. Maybe a big man who can play defense. They don't really need someone like on a superstar level again, because that's just too.
I think they already got the roster. They already got a guy like Nicholas Claxton who can fill in that role. And plus, I was about to say Russ, Kyrie, KD, Harden. I remember they keep mentioning this. They only play like 7. They didn't play that much games with each other.
Oh,
now you get a full season to develop chemistry, and then going into the postseason, we seen last year the damage they were doing before Kyrie got hurt. You know, Harden with the hamstring issue, he wasn't 100%, but he was still like his presence was a big help for KD. Like like that game 7, it could have went either way if Joe Harris at least would have hit that shot. But I'm not gonna go with hypotheticals, but I
remember watching that. There's so many shots they had. James Harden as well, but
the sad part about it is, I was rooting against the Nets, but now like if I had a time machine, I would tell myself to go back in time and root for the Nets. Because I can perfectly stomach people saying that KD is the best player in the world. I can't stomach that Giannis is the best player in the world, people.
I was about to
I can't like they're taking it way too far, bro.
I think back to that
there's so many
bias.
And it's not even just like a couple people, it's so many of them.
It's a lot.
And they think they have a valid argument.
It was too many players that were named the best player this season. Like, I can't. There's only 2 players I can accept. Yeah, there's only 2 players I can accept. I can even accept Steph Curry. I can. Steph. That's acceptable to me. But Giannis, with his skill set, nah. Like I can argue James Harden being a better basketball player than Giannis. I can argue Anthony Davis. I can argue Kawhi,
LeBron, KD. Like he's arguably the 7th best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. You're still the 7th best player in the
7th
NBA.
best.
Like that's.
But if I say that nowadays,
nah.
To
me, I have him 5 though. I have him 5 though.
And I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why there's such like a big pushback whenever you put someone like lower than people think. Because if you think about it, right? Like even KD, LeBron. Yeah, if you say KD's better, that means LeBron's second. You're still the 2nd best player in the NBA, in the entire NBA. But I don't know what it is. Whenever you say, whenever there's a random narrative that just comes out of nowhere, like Giannis being the best player in the NBA, if you go against it, you get so much pushback from people. I don't know where that comes from.
And a lot of this is the media injecting narratives into society, and then people saying, okay, well, this is the right thing to think. Like the media basically had to push this idea in front of us that Giannis or that this finals mattered, because we all know a lot of people was hurt, and that's the reason why there were certain teams was there. But we can't and the finals can't say that. They can't basically say, oh, well, this is an injured finals, so let's just watch it, I guess. They can't say that. So they have to try to make it seem like that this finals matters on like an all-time great standpoint. So as soon as they win and Giannis plays amazing, now they are pushing this narrative, trying to overhype the situation because that's their job. And a lot of people are not understanding that this is what is happening, and they're trying to say, oh, well, this must mean that Giannis is just the best player in the world. And their arguments are always so bad. It's so easy to just talk to them and talk them out of the situation. Like they'll be like, oh, I think Giannis is better than LeBron because the last time we saw LeBron, he was not better than Giannis. Okay, well, the last time we saw LeBron, he wasn't. Last time we saw LeBron, he was injured. But if you don't even want to take that into account, Trae Young was better than him. So are you going to say unless you're going to say Trae Young is better than LeBron James. You cannot tell me that that's the reason why. The arguments just get so bad, but it's so fun talking to those people, just talking them out of their own situations, you know.
And the crazy thing is, like, I've seen a few people take LeBron out of the top 5. Saying LeBron not even top 5.
Oh yeah.
That me hearing LeBron at the 5 position is terrible. But like having LeBron out of the top 3 is stupid to me. But having LeBron out of the top 5 is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Like, and this is not the first time like people are just discrediting LeBron. Like he didn't just go through an injury. Yeah. His first year in LA, he went through that.
Exactly.
And there were the 4th seed before he got hurt.
You know what's crazy? Year, he was you can keep going.
Yeah. And this year he was in MVP talks. Exactly. He was literally in conversation for MVP, and all of a sudden he's not the best player in the world. Like,
you know what's crazy that I figured out that I just realized? People will always say LeBron can't possibly be the best player in the world because he missed so many games this year, but KD missed more games than him.
Yeah.
Facts.
But then KD gets to be the best is because people want to push narratives. They want to find an excuse to move LeBron down. That's the issue. And another thing, if I would have told you before this season that Steph Curry is better than LeBron, a lot of people would have looked at me like I'm crazy, and they would have told me, you know, what are you talking about? And then I think that's wrong, right? But since then, what has happened? Like nothing has happened that should change your mind. Like nothing has happened that should change your mind. You have no evidence to prove, like, and people will always say, okay, well, I thought LeBron was better before the season, but I think Curry is better now. And I think Curry is better now because he's a better shooter. He's better.
Yeah.
But it's like,
that's what
Curry didn't gain any ability during the season.
Exactly. He's always that. Yeah. That's Curry. Player. That is Curry. Yeah. Like, of course, he's the best shooter in NBA history.
Yeah.
It's literally the media. Especially since Curry had the historic season that's up there with his unanimous season. Yeah, like
But he shot 42% from 3 on 12 attempts per game.
Almost he almost had another 50, 40, 90 season too. Like
he just missed it. He just missed it with the field goal percentage.
I mean, Curry is just it's so hard to believe he didn't win MVP because Jokic had another great season.
That brings up another point. A lot of Giannis fans would like to sit in front of you and they'll say, Giannis, he just won the championship. He won Finals MVP. And I always tell people this, awards, when we're talking about 2 players and you're trying to explain to me which one is better, not greater, better, you cannot bring up awards. Because when you bring up awards, Steph Curry literally was the best player this season. If I asked you who's the best player, most people will say Steph Curry. He had he had the best season. I'm not gonna say he's the best player, but he had the best individual season this year.
Exactly.
And he didn't win MVP, but Jokic did. And then no one is putting Jokic in the top 5, and he just won MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you ask people who were the top 3 players this season, people don't say Curry, Embiid, Jokic. They say a weird. Like the logic is just so inconsistent. It's literally
2-time MVP, defensive player of the year. That's what they always bring up.
Yeah, did Jokic not win the MVP this season?
Exactly. Does that mean he's the best player?
Yeah. Only the awards that you want to matter.
Exactly.
It's so funny, like whenever you like have these debates with those people, because there's a point in that debate where they start debating themselves, and the reason I say that because they'll say something like just completely dumb. And then go back, flip the narrative, and then go against what they just said.
Yeah,
that's just the funny. Like you don't even have to talk. You don't even have to, like you can just sit back and watch that. But like
I was on IG Live talking to someone, and they were basically doing that, and me and my live was basically just joking with this person. But they didn't know that I was basically joking them. But they admitted at the end that they lost the debate because they were like they were using this logic saying the last I saw LeBron, he wasn't the best player in the world. So I say it's KD. So I'm like, okay, so I can name 10 players right now who had better, who played better than LeBron when we last saw him, including Ja Morant.
Yeah.
So are we ready to say that Ja Morant is better than LeBron? Trae Young, maybe even Chris Middleton, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. How far down the list are we willing to go? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess Luka Doncic is just better than LeBron. I guess all these players are just better than LeBron. And it just makes them look dumb, you know?
I don't understand that at all. Like,
it doesn't even sound right. It just doesn't even sound right.
and I feel like LeBron, the biggest problem with LeBron, or it's not a problem with LeBron, it's with like people against LeBron. It's they try to put LeBron down so they can use it in the all-time debate. And that's the biggest issue for me. Because I have MJF 1, LeBron at 2 by. For me, I really don't care. You know, because as we just said like a minute ago, if you have LeBron at 2, it's okay to have him at 1. Like that's not, you know?
Yeah. Same.
For me. And so it's not a big deal for me, but there are some people that think that 1 and 2 are miles apart and they can't be in the same vicinity at all. And so whenever you go off this year, when there's players who played better than him, they'll use that against him. And now LeBron can't be in the GOAT discussion because, and that logic doesn't make sense, but they will try to use it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with LeBron.
And that is a good point that you mentioned. That is a great point. Everything is about the GOAT debate, and people don't realize that. Literally, when you're that kind of player, everything is about the GOAT debate. Even something between two teams that in a game that you're not playing in somehow has GOAT debate relevance because people are going to bring that up when it refers to you.
Yeah, scratch that.
Yeah, it's just always going to be about the GOAT debate.
Even Space Jam was using this. Like, even Space Jam is being used in the GOAT debate. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why.
I took some of those as a joke, but there's actually
there's some actual
taking it.
Yeah, like, there's some actual.
Yeah.
Like, it's a movie. I get the like LeBron. It wasn't a good movie. Like,
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah. Yeah. But like even MJ, like even Space Jam 1, it's not all that like compared to actual movies. Like of course it's a great movie. But the storyline's simple and everything. But like, just because it was LeBron, there was just so much hate, and it was just funny to me. And then, it's just it was annoying sometimes, just because people actually believe that. Like, people actually want to believe that. I don't know where it's coming from. Like, it's a movie about Looney Tunes, and it's using the GOAT debate.
And I personally have not even seen the movie, but everyone was telling me LeBron can act, and it's like. Name one professional athlete.
He's a basketball player. He's not supposed to be acting.
Yes, like name one professional athlete who can act. They act like Michael Jordan was literally Robert Downey Jr. in his movie. Like, no, relax. He wasn't. Like, come on. Let's be honest with that.
He's playing basketball for a living. He's playing basketball for a living. He's not over here worried about how many people are watching his movie. He just cares about how much money he's getting, to be honest. That's all.
And then you have 40-year-old,
I don't think it's
40-year-old, 30-year-old men.
Oh yeah, LeBron has all the money. He doesn't even need that.
Looking at this movie, talking about MJ's movie. Yeah. MJ's movie. It's not for you. It's a kid's movie.
Exactly.
Relax.
Exactly.
And people try to like bring up the fact that like, oh well, there's some like references in the movie that only like older people would know. Not necessarily. I mean, it's mainly for people that are not that old. Like. Me, like I'm 19.
Yeah,
I'm not that old, but I'm still able to watch this movie and enjoy it. Like it's not for you. You're 30 years old. You were in the movie theater. You're only there because you have to be there with your kid. That's the only reason why you're there. So they threw some references in the movie for you guys so that way you guys could stay entertained. That's literally the only reason why there's references.
I hate when people gatekeep. I hate when they do that.
You sleep. Like you're probably taking a good nap. If there's not there's I don't know why. Like it's really not. And some people like for movies like that, for me, I just like to watch it and just like enjoy. Like, it's not. And to be honest, like I wouldn't I just watched it on a streaming network, and it's not something I really like cared about too much because I'm not here expecting this to be like Endgame or something, and just I'm not expecting that because, as I said, it's an athlete with Looney Tunes in it. Looney Tunes, like we're over here critiquing Looney Tunes right now. I just like it's a kids movie. It's like what's the real difference between Moana and Space Jam? Except as an athlete, like it's a Disney movie.
No, you want to know the difference? I don't hear anyone critically reviewing Moana.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any Disney movie. There was that movie that came out that Disney released, Luca. It wasn't that great, but like no one cared.
Yeah.
No one cared. But
It's because
Space Jam
everything
comes
was
out.
about the GOAT debate.
Yeah. And it's just crazy to me. But yeah. Anyways, let's talk about so I wanted to bring this up, and it's regarding Giannis and the all-time ranking for power forwards. Where do you rank Giannis now after his season?
I think it's comfortable to rank him 5 or 6, depending how you value the awards, what Giannis has done so far in his career. I got him personally at 5. I have him over Charles Barkley, especially like that two MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, the Finals MVP, and at his age right now, that just holds a lot of weight. Like accomplishing all of that at 26. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he's even 26. He's 25, I think.
Let me check
Or
that.
no, he's 26. He's 26. He's turning 20.
Yeah. That would be crazy. But that's still crazy. That's still crazy.
Yeah. He didn't even really hit his prime yet. But I think Giannis is going to be this type of player for the rest of his career, though.
I don't see him slowing down until he's like 32, and I think that's just because I feel like he can do like what LeBron is kind of doing whenever he's 35, like kind of slow down. Not because LeBron's not what he used to be whenever he was with the Heat. I could see that with Giannis. I could see him being around the NBA for another 10 years.
Yeah, I personally have Giannis. Same thing. I say he's top 5. And like you said, if you look at his accolades for his age, he's accomplished an amazing amount of stuff. He's one of the greatest power forwards ever, as far as the stuff that he's been able to accomplish combined with his skill set and his production. Like he's accomplished a lot. But it's kind of funny how as soon as anyone accomplishes a championship, they just instantly just go right over Charles Barkley, and that's always going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley is just one of those players that he's like. I feel like for people, that he's great, but I don't think people respect his greatness.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So,
that's why I pointed out accolades. It just depends how you view greatness, because everybody has their different. Especially I don't want to mention him right now, but Chilltown, like how he doesn't have Kobe in his top 10. Because of his accolades, and I like a lot of people have Tim Duncan over Kobe, and it's because of his resume, and that just doesn't make sense. Because when they were in the NBA, who was the better player? It was Kobe.
And for me, it's tough. It's very tough for me to like debate versus like Tim Duncan versus Kobe, because they're two different positions. You imagine. Okay, so I brought this up, right? Imagine if Tim Duncan played like Kobe, and if Kobe played like Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course they're not going to be on the same level, because like Kobe's playing a completely different position. He's not supposed to play like Tim Duncan. He's going to, but Tim Duncan has more accolades. But he could also okay, so the reason I look at it like this, okay, so you can have a power forward that just needs to like be like Tim Duncan and go farther than, go far with that. But Kobe had to be the player on his team to win those championships. He had to be that guy. Tim Duncan, he had great teams around. I'm not discrediting Tim Duncan. It's just simply his role is way different than Kobe. I have Kobe above.
It's a system thing. Tim Duncan is more of a system. Like he benefited being a part of the Spurs system. Kobe, the Lakers, Kobe is the system in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Kobe is, like you say, Kobe is the guy. So it's just different. It's just how you view it. Like, does that matter to you? Because I feel like Kobe had the more difficult position.
Exactly. You had to build around Kobe, but Tim Duncan, or no, you had to you know what I'm saying. So like Tim Duncan, he can just glide like Popovich and Tim Duncan. That, you know what I mean? Like you could build around Tim, but it's like he's not gonna be the player winning games for you. Kobe was the guy winning games for you.
Yeah. And honestly, when you talk about like Tim Duncan and Kobe, I feel like that the accolade that he is like knocking him for is the MVPs. It's hard to win MVPs when you're on bad teams. Like, that's just the truth. Like, show me the player that won the MVP on a team that wasn't good and that didn't make the playoffs. Like, I'm just like waiting for that player to happen before someone can go ahead and try to tell me that or try to like knock someone because of MVPs. And that's the reason, like, not to bring up Chilltown, but that's the reason why he doesn't have Kobe top 10, because he says only one MVP. But he's just better than Bill Russell.
Yeah,
we
all
know he's better than Bill Russell. So it's like, you know, I'm definitely gonna have to put him in the top 10. And Bill Russell, you're gonna have to come out the top 10. You're gonna have to come out.
I mean, he made that video. I think that was like, which of those like 10 players would you say like take Kobe out or put Kobe in, take out? And Bill Russell was the first player, but I think for me, I would even put. Like, I'll even take Wilt out because I think
I'm
Kobe
taking both. I'm taking both.
Yeah.
I got into a point where I had this talk a lot, but they're basically what started the game. They
exactly. And for me, I can't put someone like that above someone who clearly was better.
It's just not fair to compare like somebody that played the game when it first started to somebody who's helped evolve the game.
Yeah, I don't
like. For example,
it just doesn't make sense.
For NFL comparison, no one puts Johnny Unitas in their top 5 best quarterbacks ever, or top 10. Johnny Unitas or Otto Graham.
Otto Graham's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Like,
yes,
but no one's here because he played before Super Bowl era.
But I kind of feel like, based off of Wilt's accomplishments, I have to put him there in the top 10. But I like, because he was still really good for his era. Like, basically like this, right? I know we should knock him for playing in that era. But at the same time, if you were to drop, let's say, LeBron in his era, and what would you expect him to do? And basically, if we were to drop a player from today, like a Giannis, in that era, and we expected him to rack up a lot of numbers and points, he did it. Like Wilt gave us what we asked of him. You know, he gave us what we would have asked a player that's still in the top 10 all these years later to have accomplished. So that's the reason why I still have him in the top 10.
It's weird for me. It's a very weird area. It's a big.
I just don't rank them. I just don't rank them out of respect no more. Because I used to have them. Yeah. But that was the problem with my top 10, because it was out of respect for those players and what they've done to the game. But at the same time, it seemed disrespectful to have Kobe at like 8, 9, you know, like, or Magic being so high because of who he played against, you know, like. It just doesn't make sense.
It's so weird. And like, whenever you rank it, it's just so weird. And it's tough to do. It's very tough to do top 10s nowadays, because like there's so many narratives that are just with every single player. Like Hakeem, he was great with the Rockets, but he was also kind of carrying that team in a way. And of course, like LeBron, MJ, and then you got Kobe, as we said, Bill, Wilt. All these guys have all these narratives, but it's just so tough to rank them. But for me, it's just weird, because like you can't really sit here and tell me that Bill Russell versus KD, who's a better player? Clearly KD, you know, you know, all these guys are clearly better than him, but he also has all those championships, all the accolades, all the points. It's just so weird. Yeah, he's clearly not the better player, but he has all the accolades to show for it.
But just in case your viewers don't know why Bill Russell should not be top 10, I just want to inform people about the Bill Russell era really quick, because I wrote like a whole I wrote like this thing explaining why Bill Russell should not be included in top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he averaged more rebounds than points. It's not really good. Played on a team that had 9 Hall of Famers. Take that into account for the 11 rings. Bill Russell has never played with less than 4 Hall of Famers that are not including himself. So that's also taken into that account. Bill Russell never averaged 20 points per game in a league where Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to bring up. Averaged 15 points per game on 44% shooting with a 12 feet wide foul lane. When it got expanded to 16, he only averaged 12 points per game for his career. In 1962, teams averaged 152 ball possessions per game, which is 60 more than today. 50% more opportunities to score than today. And he still only averaged 14 points per game. There was no offensive 3 seconds in the paint rule, so people were just camping. You know, they were just camping and then just put back dunks and layups. That's how you get like 30 rebounds in a game, you know? It's partially because he was physically gifted and partially because people were camping in the paint. Yeah. All points adjusted, he would have averaged 10 points per game in today's game. You factor in the adjustments. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know the science behind that part. But he would also average less rebounds in today's game due to longer shots, which would cause a more varying array of how the rebounds go. You know, that's another thing. Mm-hmm. So when you factor all that in and you realize that today's game is the more efficient era or the better era of just pure basketball, there's no way I'm saying he's a top 10 basketball player of all time. I don't like he unless he did what Wilt did and dominate the game like that. I can't put him up there.
And for Bill, I just don't know if I could it's way easier for me to like rank someone like Wilt than Bill, because Wilt actually does have a case now because he was a great player, like an actual basketball player, you know, rather than just letting his accolades speak for him. You know, he was actually a dominant player. But what it comes down to is like back then the rebounding the ball was way easier because like you're not taking shots. There was no point for you to shoot the ball. There really wasn't. Like, why would you shoot the ball from 30 feet away when you're gonna get the same amount of points you would have get like if you're right next to the basket? Like, there's no point really. Yeah. So if you really, and I don't like this, but if you really were to put Bill Russell right now in today's NBA, I don't even think he's a starter. I don't even know if he's making a team. I just don't know, because I just don't know if he would be. I don't know.
He can't play today because the game has
he's not
so much. But that's another reason why I just can't rank those guys.
But I can't use that against him because that's not his fault. It's simply not his fault.
Yeah,
you know,
that's why.
That's fine. And that's fine. You just, that's just what it is. You know, you have to live with it.
And that's the thing. You're so right about that. I hate HATE when people say, "Oh, it's not their fault because they played back then." It's like,
I was one of those people.
You just have to understand that that's the way that sports and things work.
Exactly.
Anytime you set a record in anything, it's made to be broken. There's going to be someone that's going to come up, it's going to break your records. Even if you were the best ever, someday there will be someone that's better than you. And people are all going to universally recognize that. Wilt used to be the GOAT. Like there are he's arguably not even top 5 anymore. So it's like, what are we? You guys have to understand when you play this game and when you watch this game that this is the reality of it. Eventually, someone's going to come and pass him, and it's probably going to be because the game is going to be more efficient, and there's going to be some version of the league, like maybe in like 100 or so years, there's going to be a league where we look at and it's like, look, bro, LeBron wouldn't even be able to start in this league. And it's like, we're just going to have to be okay with that. That's probably never going to happen. That
it might not.
We've advanced past the threshold, but you get the point. You get the point.
And that's why with the GOAT debate, I do see LeBron, the fact that he's still a top 3 player, like easily right now at 36 years old, Oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind when you have Kobe, or not Kobe, my bad. I don't know why I say Kobe. LeBron over MJ, because at some point someone will surpass MJ. It's just bound to happen because the NBA just won't end after 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just gonna simply end and MJ's gonna be the greatest player ever to play basketball. Or I don't think he had enough, like, you know, he didn't hold enough accolades to be, you know, to always be the all-time. Like, of course, at some point, 10 years down the road, there's some player that's a elementary kid right now is gonna be better than him. Like, we just simply don't know that, but it's bound to happen.
But it's always going to be the debate. It's always going to be the debate. Like, there's still people saying Kareem is the GOAT.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where that – yeah. There's Kareem. I think that Kobe is very much just people admitting that, like – and I don't mean this in a bad way at all. I just think people – if you, like, at Kobe, it's really just that it's just you – would look up to them. It's just a personal preference at that point. It's not that you actually think that they're better.
Yeah.
I just think, and I don't blame them for that because Kobe is probably the most influential player ever.
Actually, there's some people that actually might believe that Kobe is the GOAT, though.
Yeah, no. I remember when I was in high school, and I was like a senior, junior, and I used to only watch Undisputed, and I didn't actually know that much about the game. I didn't actually do any research.
Yeah.
I would hear my team. I mean, not my teammates, be like I played football, so I remember I hear the other kids on the team that also played basketball. They would always be talking about their like GOAT debates, and they used to say the most wild things, and they almost all had Kobe at one. And it's just like people actually believe that he's better than LeBron. They actually believe it. They've never actually looked at or at any type of facts on what these people have done before, and that's just where we can leave that conversation at. I just know that you don't actually keep up with the players. You just watch highlights.
I think, and that's like, I don't like saying it, but like I think if you do have Kobe at one, it's very much just like a casual take. I don't mind that. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way. But I think I think the whole word casual has been taken. Just been blown out of proportion, like completely. If you're a casual, it's okay.
They use it so loosely.
No, because it's okay to be a casual. It really is.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
I'm a casual hockey fan. I'm a casual baseball. I'm not even a baseball fan. I'm not even a hockey fan. If I start watching, I'm a casual. Because I really don't care. Like I really don't care what you say. Like the analytics. I'm not gonna look at your RBIs or whatever. Your stats. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just watching the game.
Yeah.
And for me, if you have Kobe at one, that's what you're telling me. Like because you're telling me that you just like a player that was influential, because that's what Kobe was. That's all he was, really. Like, that's what he was. He was an influential player that if you cannot take Kobe out of NBA history. You can't, because there's so many people, at least from what I've experienced, that like the only reason I play basketball or the reason I started playing basketball was because of Kobe. And if you take him out, there's just so many players, even in the NBA right now, that were inspired by Kobe.
Yeah, but that goes to a very interesting video that I saw, and I mean the question was, or it was a tweet. It said, "Who would you eliminate from basketball history?" You guys probably seen it. It was like Kobe, LeBron, MJ, and Curry, and it's like
Shaq. I think I also has Shaq in it.
No, it's just those four. Who would you eliminate from basketball history?
Yeah.
And for that one, I chose Curry originally.
Yeah.
But part of me was feeling like Kobe, because I kind of feel like the way that the game is evolutionizing as far as how people play basketball, it's a lot influenced by Curry now. Even the people that are influenced by Kobe, there's not really like there's a decent amount of them, but there's not enough of them to. And honestly, I feel like that we could easily get people that play that same way from MJ. Like, who's to say that Devin Booker's favorite player going up wouldn't have just been MJ if it wasn't Kobe? Like, you can make that argument, but Kobe is more influential off the court, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, globally.
Curry is more on the court. It's tough between those two.
I did actually make a video on that. I did make a video on that, and I actually said LeBron because I just don't know. And for me, I gotta keep Kobe in there just because of the influence he had off the court and just the impact he had. And for me, it was like if you look at it right now, like after like Kobe passed and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The amount of like love and support he got after that was just showing like how much of an impact he actually made on people. Just simply like people actually felt that like as if they lost someone they knew. You know what I mean? I feel like for Kobe, I had to keep him in there. I have to keep LeBron in there, or not LeBron. I have to keep MJ in there. I had to keep Curry because he completely changed the game. He completely changed the game, and I have to keep Kobe in there. LeBron, he would be fourth, but I mean, I just don't know, like what, because he's not greater than Jordan for me, right? He's not like more influential as Kobe for me. He didn't change the game the way Curry did. So for me, I had to take him out. And it wasn't a knock on LeBron. It's just simply I couldn't take any of the other two.
What was the question again for that?
Actually, I think I had pulled up. So it was okay. Let me just go to there. So it was this one. It was like pick. Oh, well, you can't really erase it, but and it said pick one and erase them from NBA history.
That's it. It just didn't say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just they would never exist.
I had to remember the question. There's no wrong answer. That's just a perception thing in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who would you say it was? Who would you take out?
I can't choose, but I feel like they all impacted the game of basketball in some form, in some way.
It's tough.
The reason why I would leave LeBron though is because I think he's the best basketball player ever. I think that. So I think it's really hard to eliminate that guy. But if you don't think that, then I understand why you would not take that route. But also and a lot of people don't want to agree with this, agree or disagree, whatever. I think he has the best story in the history of basketball. Mm-hmm. And I think that you cannot tell the story of basketball without LeBron James.
Yeah.
I think
he definitely got the most interesting career.
His story of his life.
Oh, that is so true, though.
When you look at the story of his life and how it went and how that is tied in with the NBA and how there was MJ and then there was LeBron, right? And then there was him coming up, supposed to be this basketball prodigy, him on Sports Illustrated, him in 2007 taking that team to the finals, losing, them forcing him to shoot. Then in 2011, them telling him, okay, him having one of the worst superstar meltdowns, and then him forming the super team and the decision and the block.
Becoming the villain.
All of these moments, right? Yeah. I can't tell the story of basketball, especially I cannot tell the story of basketball post 2000 without LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that is actually very true. I mean, it's so tough.
It's so tough, but
it's such a sad question to ask somebody though.
Yeah,
to pick one of those, especially it just is so sad.
That is really tough because so if you take LeBron out, right? You take out, because KD's not in the GOAT debate, right? So you take out the greatest player from this year or from this generation from this year. You take out.
That's another thing why I'm probably going to lean toward Curry, because LeBron's still in the league, and Curry, and just because of that, Curry didn't have the opportunity to be the best player for his time. So I just can't take out Cole, Mike, and LeBron. I can't do that. But he impacted the game so much with his shooting.
There's he completely made a new play style. You know what I mean? Without him, I don't think we see floor spacing the way it is right now. We don't see the need for shooting. Of course, it would still develop. I think there's still players like Dame, but
I think it would have developed, but
it would have been slower. It wouldn't been as quick as Curry had made it.
Because I think it really started with D'Antoni. I think D'Antoni started it in Phoenix.
I think what would have happened is it would have been more for role players, and because it was Kyle Korver that really started it. Kyle Korver, JJ Redick, and there's another player I just keep keep forgetting. Ray Allen. Yeah, Ray Allen.
You want to know something else? I think would have happened if there was no Curry. I think that someone would have tried to attempt this style of play and they would have failed. I think they would have
Facts.
tried to, but they would have failed. It looked for Curry to be the one to actually convince us that this is something that's actually good enough play style to play. It took him breaking the single season 3-point shooting record and then doubling it the next year. That's what it took for us, and him winning unanimous MVP. That's what it took, and back-to-back MVPs. That's what it took for us to really be like, okay, this is good. Who else is doing that? That's actually capable of it, you know? And I don't think that anyone else that's been in the league has been in a situation where they could produce on that that there's no one in the league that can produce on that output because he's the best ever as far as 3-point shooting. And then there's no one that is in the situation besides like maybe James Harden, but he can't produce on that output as far as efficiency wise. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough to take Curry out. I mean, just because they're just like, I don't know, because I don't think anybody would have been able to replicate the same exact style play. And plus with Curry, what he did, like just even like off ball and showing the need for that, like just outside of shooting, of course, without shooting, he's still a great player, you know what I mean? But the shooting just wouldn't have developed the way it did with Curry. That's just the problem there.
I don't think the skill of shooting got better. I think it's more so like
I think it would have just become like for player like role.
It's more.
That's all it would have been.
It's more volume now. It's
Yeah,
more acceptable to shoot a lot of threes.
I don't think anybody would have wanted a 3-point specialist to start. I think maybe someone would just want them to be coming off the bench, like someone like Seth Curry. Like, you know, I don't think it would have been like Steph where you need that player on your court. You know what I mean? But for LeBron, it's so tough. It's because if you take him out, that means you lose the Miami Heat. You lose all that. So Bosh and Wade don't come to Miami, I don't think. So we have to see what they do over there, wherever they are. Then you got the Lakers. They don't try to form a team around LeBron. You don't have Cleveland, you know, making finals.
Yeah, so the 3-1 comeback that never happens. That is probably the best finals maybe we've ever seen, and that doesn't happen without him. You know? Yeah,
it's so tough. But like, I don't even know because you can't really. Yeah, it's so tough. It really is. But okay, wait. What y'all think about this graphic though? The one that I got confused with earlier. The one that said if you had to bench one. Because I know I've seen a lot of people.
Oh, the 6 players.
The 6 players.
It only makes sense to bench either Mike or Kobe.
Yeah, I don't know why Mike wasn't that. I don't know why Mike wasn't that big of an answer because for me, I actually think Mike could be a good move because he's better than Kobe, right? And if it's a team, like it's an actual team, and you have a bench squad, I might want Mike coming off the bench and leading that team, playing more minutes than Kobe. That could be a move.
Because either way, nobody's beating that team regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
It really doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I saw
someone make a great point. This graphic is kind of just forcing people to bench Kobe.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're not benching Kobe and you bench like LeBron, you just have no clue what you're talking about. Like it's forcing you to bench Kobe. Like that's just the right answer. But I mean, you could say MJ. But I feel like the team would be able to work with MJ as a starter. And
for me,
I feel like
how great will the team be? Like that's it. Like
they're not going to lose to anyone anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
You know, I could even bench LeBron and they still would never lose.
Exactly.
Like
it's
the team's so good. Like the only way that you like actually ruin the team is if you bench Shaq. Because then you have KD running the 5. That's just never going to happen. Yeah. But even then, you're scoring so many points that it probably wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
like,
it probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
But yeah. It has been blown out of proportion. I think I've seen a lot of people make a video about it. And I think it's Kobe. It really is forced to take Kobe out just because Mike and him play the same exact way. But yeah, I really could care less just because you're going to win the same amount of games with them and with them not because you might score more points. That's all it comes down to. Are you scoring 200 points or like
Yeah, that's the only question.
yeah. So yeah, anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap this one up because that's about all I have to speak about. Did y'all want to add on to anything that we maybe touched on a little bit earlier?
We really didn't even talk about the finals that much.
Oh yeah, we started off with it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, guys. Pleasure to have y'all on.
Anytime.
Anyways, I can go ahead. Shout yourselves out, and then we'll close this video out.
All right, it's your boy G Wavo. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm Super Kurt on pretty much all socials. Super Kurt, 2 T's.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I think you asked me to turn on my stitches for a video. I did that, so I want to go back. Yeah, come back to that. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for that. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. See you. All right, see you guys.
All right.